don't bunch up, you don't get sweaty. Simple as that.
One of the things I noticed about my Goats Grip socks is the grip runs across the whole panel, so there's no bunching or sliding in your boots.
These grip pads will help you not slip when you're going in for a tackle.
My old socks will get sweaty halfway through the game. Not with Goats Grip, they stay cool and dry from start to finish.
These guards are so lightweight, you forget they're even there, but they still give solid protection. It's like full freedom to play a game without that clunky feeling. I used to wear bulky guards that slip down every game. These stay in place the whole time.
These shin pads are stretchy, durable, definitely not be ripping anytime soon.
Switch the Goat sleeves now. They don't slip, they don't slide, nice and snug, nice and tight.
It's crazy how light these things are. I've worn a lot of old school pads in my time. In these, a featherweight is super comfortable.
Legend begins where heroes end.
Why are you still wearing those old clunky shin pads when you could be wearing these?
I used to struggle with shin guards sliding all game. These are a game changer. Put them on, you don't even notice them. They're comfortable, keep you going until finish.
It shows how fast you move on the pitch because it's stuck to the shin bone and does not slip and slide all around your shin.
No distractions, no readjusting, just focus on the match. What I like about these is you can wear them all day. Training, recovery, travel, they never lose shape. The material is soft and supportive. It's the perfect mix of comfort and performance. These guards are so lightweight, you forget they're even there. These guards are so lightweight, you forget they're even there, but they still give solid protection. It's like full freedom to play a game without that clunky feeling. Training, recovery, travel, they never lose shape.
Hi everyone, happy Saturday or Friday evening, no matter where you are in the world. A big welcome to our live weekend coaching call. Now today we've actually had a couple of questions that have been dropped in, so we're super excited to take you through the questions. But also we've got a couple of topics that we're going to cover off as ever in school. Remember, excuse me, if you're not a subscriber to our YouTube channel, please make sure you subscribe. And once you subscribe, you're able to ask us questions and drop them into the comments. And if we get a chance, we'll answer them for you. If you're already a subscriber and you're a member of our Pro Player Pathway, if you can drop in your questions as well into the comments in YouTube, and we'll be sure to answer them for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to go straight across into our first screen, and we've got a video to walk you through. So one of the big ones that we're going to have a little look at today is we've focused a lot on younger age groups. There's been a little bit of focus on goalkeepers lately. We're actually going to do a little bit of more senior men's and women's type sessions today. So we've got two that we're going to walk us through. We're going to go through team bonding activities, which again can be drilled down for younger age groups. And then we're going to have a little look at warm-ups and cool-downs. So I'm going to play this short video for everyone. I hope you enjoy it. And we'll be back in the next 3 or 4 minutes. And we're going to do a little bit of a whiteboard session on this particular video as well.
If you want to improve as a football player, training is important. And sure, sometimes you have to go through the grind with boring, repetitive drills. But why not try and have as much fun training as you can? Today I decided to list some of the most fun football drills out there to make trainings a bit more light and varied. Now these are drills that are also used by the pros, so there are no excuses as to why you or your teammates shouldn't be doing them as well. So let's go! So the first fun drill is this one from Liverpool that they like to use as a fun warm-up, and it is pretty simple. You team up 2 and 2 and then run in between 2 different colored cones. Then your coach or another player yells either change or the color of one of the cones. If he yells change, you swap positions, and if he yells, for example, red, you run to the red cone. Now the player who gets there first wins. This is a pretty fun and competitive way to get in some sprints to maybe end off your warm-up. For the second fun drill, I have this heading challenge from FC Barcelona. Again, you team up with another teammate and then you head the ball back and forth between you until you reach the bin. The goal is now to get the ball in the bin without using anything other than your head. And if you drop the ball, your turn is over. This is a good way to practice your touch with your head, and it just looks pretty fun and competitive as well. Thirdly, we have this little fun warm-up drill from Arsenal, where you casually run around and then your coach yells a number like 5. Now, the challenge is to group up 5 teammates as quickly as possible. Most likely, someone will be left out, and then they have to do push-ups or sit-ups or whatever. And with this drill, you can raise your awareness and get your brain going, trying to figure out how you can team up and where there's room for you. And it also improves your quick decision-making as a team, which is great when you get on the pitch. And then there's another heading challenge used by FC Barcelona, which again is a good way to practice your touch with your head, but also to really fine-tune your reaction times afterwards. To play this game, you split the team into 2, which will then be placed beside each post. Now, taking turns, one player from each team runs around the ball, or the cone, and tries to score from a header which will be thrown at you from one of the teams. And after heading the ball, you act as the goalkeeper. So you need to be quick to get on the line to not let the opposition get an easy goal. So when you've headed, the next guy runs from the other team to try and score, etc., etc. Most goals win. For the 5th drill, we have foot tennis, which many of you might be familiar with, but if you're not, let me just quickly explain the rules. Now, the ball can touch the ground once for every time it's played over the net. Then you have 3 touches on each team to get it back over, and you can only do 1 consecutive touch per player. Now, you can do like Liverpool and play it as 5 people, or maybe mix up the rules and play 1-on-1 or 2-on-2. It's the most fun though if you're at least 2 on each team. And if you want to see how it looked when I teamed up with Frankie de Jong to take on PWG and Asisat Oshuala, you can click the video in the corner. By the way, we totally won it. For the final drill, we have this pretty fun challenge done, again, by FC Barcelona. They like their challenges down there. It's the bottle flip tic-tac-toe. Now, each player has 2 attempts to land a bottle flip, and when you land it, you get to move one of your shirts on the board. Now, if you don't land a bottle flip on your 2 tries, which is likely, the turn is passed to the next player in line. So now you just have to try to land that bottle flip and outsmart your opponent. It's all fun and games, but you also get to work that brain. So there you have it, my friends. 6 fun training drills that you can also use to improve your technique and your teamwork and a lot of other nice stuff, all while having fun. But did we miss any really fun drills that you can use? If we did, please tell us down in the comment section. And while you're doing that, of course, also don't forget to subscribe to our channel with the notifications on. And finally, if you want to look good and play...
So some amazing drills to take you through there, and I thought it was really important that you understand that some of these drills can be done by younger age groups as well. These can even just be practiced in the park with our friends. You could do this in a group of 2, a group of 3. It doesn't need to be large groups, so to speak, to do these sessions. Now, I'm not going to go through all 6 of them, but I'm actually going to showcase 2 of my favourites. And the reason why they're my favourites is because we used them quite a lot when I worked in the Premier League and when I was coaching. And they're going to be 2 that I am going to walk you through because they are worth having a little bit more of a deeper dive. So, as I said, these can be done with younger age groups. And the first one was the session that we saw at Liverpool Football Club. And it was where they were pairing up in 2 players. So this is a great warm-up. So the players started off to the side here. And the coach would give them a call to say go. And when they got given that call, they would have to make their way to the central areas. And then they would face up against the teammates. So this player would face up against this player. And you could see... they were pushing each other, their hands on each other's shoulders. Now, the next thing they were waiting for, there was 3 different commands that the coach was given. The first command that the coach was given was change, and that was change direction. So if this player 1 was there and player 2 was there, if they called change, they had to swap positions as fast as they could, using fast feet, and swap in. The other 2 areas that the coach was calling out was blue or red. Now, once that was called, it's a foot race to that side. So as an example, this might have been the blue side, and how the coach done that, he laid a series of cones down this end, and it was the same on this side. This might have been the red side, and what he done was, with this particular side, this coach, he put down red cones on this side of the pitch. So as soon as the coach has called out change, the rotating positions here in the middle, facing each other with that quick changeover. If the coach called out red, they had to sprint to the red side. If the coach called out blue, they had to sprint to the blue side, and it was a bit of a foot race. Now, that continues on for 5 to 8 minutes. It's a fun game, and it's a great activity. Now, is there a way we can upskill this one and make it a little bit more trickier? Is there a way to make this a little bit more fun for younger age groups? 100%. How we can make this more fun for those younger age groups, it's quite simple. You can add in a ball, and they've got to basically take the ball with them everywhere they go. So if the coach says change, when they change positions in the middle, they take the ball with them. When the coach calls blue and red, they dribble and drive the ball with them all the way to the ends. And then once the coach calls go again and they run back into the middle, again, they take the ball with them. So there's a couple of different ways we can change this up. This is a fun activity. Obviously, the kids who are the fastest are going to stick out like a sore thumb because they're going to win every race. So that's why it's really, really important that what you can do is to finish this one off, especially in the younger age groups. You can actually be really, really clever and just notice the kids that are winning the foot race each time and partner up 2 players who are really fast with each other. So make that quick change. So if we've got player 1 here and player 2 there, if player 2 in this group is winning all the time and player 1 is winning in this group, once you do one of your little mini breaks, just combine those 2 players together into one team. And that's going to even it out a little bit and give another player an opportunity to maybe win a race or 2 and to get a little bit of success. Now, the next warm-up drill, that was one of my favourites. And again, it was, ironically, and not because I am a Liverpool fan, but it was the Liverpool FC drill, and it's quite a common one in England, and we integrated this one a lot in the Premier League, and it was football tennis. Now, the beauty with football tennis, you noticed in the game at Liverpool, they had the big tall fancy net that went right down the middle, but when you're seeing it getting done, I believe it was at Barcelona, they just had the small nets. You don't necessarily need big nets to do this. They then had cones all the way around to mark the pitch out. And there's a couple of ways we can do the football tennis. But you need to make sure that you draw up what you call club rules. So let's say we've got 2 players in there and we might have 2 players in there. The good thing with foot tennis, you can have odd numbers. You can have 2v3, 4v3. So this is a great way of doing a great warm-up. It enables players to get lots of touches on the ball. It enables them to physically get warm. Also, it's got the social element, lots of communication, okay? And also, there's a lot of tactical, okay, setting up positions where you need to be. Now what you need to do with your rules for your foot tennis, you need to make some very simple rules. It might be you can only score when you're serving. Okay, when they serve, you only get, like tennis, if you make a fault in your first serve, then you get a second serve, so it's 2 serves max. You must serve behind the line. So this, let's say this is the imaginary line at the back. So if I'm on this team, you've got to be stood behind this line here before you can kick the ball over to the opposition's half. Also, you could have in, and you can make it really tricky, especially for the older age groups, the ball's got to bounce once in your side of the half before you're allowed to have a kick or a touch of the ball. So you've got to allow the ball to bounce in your side first. So this makes it even more trickier. Now, the big thing that we've spoken about in the past is the 4-corner model. And the 4-corner model was the model that we used in the Premier League and the English FA. And it was the 4 key areas that we ascertained needs to be included in every session. So what were those things? Technical, physical, social, and tactical. And what we look for is in every session, do we have at least 3 of those areas covered? If we don't have at least 3 of those areas covered in a session, then that means that we need to probably not complete that session because it's not going to be useful to the players. Now, there is going to be moments where some sessions won't have much social elements in, but they will have tactical, physical, and technical. Or you might get technical, social, and a bit of tactical, but it might be really low on the physical side. With this particular one, foot tennis, we get the technical part of the game because you've got to take some great touches when receiving, and you've got to use your technique when you're sending the ball back across. Physical is all about obviously moving around, keeping on your feet, getting a good workout. There's definitely lots of physical in the foot tennis game. Even though it's only a small space we operate in, you'd actually realise pretty quickly how physical it is playing a game of foot tennis. The social interaction is unbelievable. So that social interaction there's lots of it. There's lots of communication in foot tennis. You'll notice when you do this with your playing group, you'll look sometimes and you'll have to have a double look because you'll hear players shouting and screaming. But this is a good thing. It just shows you how motivated they get, and the players really love this because it's working in mini teams. You can have 3v3, you could have 4v4. You can make this really fun. You can even go up as big as 6v6 in this. And you'd be amazed because it's a team game how they all start rallying around each other and supporting each other. The final one is tactical. It gets super tactical, especially when you up the numbers. I've even done this. I remember coaching an under-10s team at Leicester City, and I can remember doing a 6v6 in this, and how tactical it was getting, the way the players were setting each other up to go in a formation, 2 banks of 3, or a bank of 2, then 1, then a 2, then a 1. And it was funny just to see how formations all of a sudden started to come into play. So that's a little bit about my 2 favourite warm-up games that we've just showcased to you from that particular video. I hope you enjoyed that. What we are going to do is now we are going to go very quickly to a very quick short ad break. And when we come back, we're going to answer one of our first questions of the day. And I look forward to bringing that one with you. So I'm just going to give us this short ad break and we'll be back in a few minutes.
You don't bunch up, you don't get sweaty. Simple as that.
One of the things I noticed about my Goats grip socks is the grip runs across the whole panel, so there's no bunching or sliding in your boots.
These grip pads will help you not slip when you're going in for a tackle.
My old socks will get sweaty halfway through the game. Not with Goat Grips, they stay cool and dry from start to finish.
These guards are so lightweight, you forget they're even there, but they still give solid protection. It's like full freedom to play a game without that clunky feeling. I used to wear bulky guards that slip down every game. These stay in place the whole time.
These shin pads are stretchy, durable, definitely not be ripping anytime soon.
Switch the goat sleeves now. They don't slip, they don't slide. Nice and snug, nice and tight.
It's crazy how light these things are. I've worn a lot of old school pads in my time. In these, are featherweight and super comfortable.
Why are you still wearing those old clunky shin pads when you could be wearing these?
I used to struggle with shin guards sliding all game. These are a game changer. Put them on, you don't even notice them. They're comfortable, keep it going until finish.
It shows how fast you move on the pitch because it's stuck to the shin bone and does not slip and slide all around the shin.
No distractions, no readjusting, just focus on the match. What I like about these is you can wear them all day. Training, recovery, travel, they never lose shape. The material is soft and supportive. It's the perfect mix of comfort and performance. These guards are so lightweight, you forget they're even there. These guards are so lightweight, you forget they're even there, but they still give solid protection. It's like full freedom to play a game without that clunky feeling.
Hi everyone, welcome back. Now I'm going to move on to one of the questions that we got before we do any more videos this morning. Now we got a great question in, and I think it was from Matthew Campbell, I think it was. And I'm going to read out a little bit about the question, and then I'm going to answer the question, and I might do a little bit on a whiteboard with it as well, just to walk us through. But the question that we got was, I've got a problem. When we do fitness tests, I'm always one of the top players, and I always perform in the long distance running. But recently I've been noticing that I actually struggle and keep up with the game sometimes as a wide player. It could be because it's transitional and I'm always making runs tracking back at the time, but I'm not quite sure. Do you know what is the reason for this? So this is a great question, and it's showing you in a nutshell that there's two types of fitness. Now, you guys know, and I've put this onto you guys so many times, there's a particular test that I ask you to do 2 to 3 times a week. And that particular test that I ask you all to do is the beep test. And I've explained this many, many times. The beep test is not designed to show you how fit you are. It's actually a very, very relevant tool to make you fit for football. So I'm gonna break down a little bit about that particular question. So let's look at things like long distance running. Okay, long distance running is gonna give you an engine, and it's gonna show you that you can go over long distances. We know that, okay? But football fitness is different. Now, long distance running might take you over 5 kilometers. So when we're looking at long distance running and we're thinking about distances like 5 kilometers, okay, is that relevant to football? And the answer quite simply would be no, okay, it's not relevant. What is relevant to football is distances between 10 meters and 30 meters. Now that is what's relevant to football. Now, repeated sprint work is relevant to football. Sprint, rest, repeat. Yeah, that is completely relative, okay? So repeated sprints, constant transitions, high intensity actions. So when we mention those areas or topics of discussion, we straight away think, well, that's exactly what a beep test is. On a beep test, you will go from 20 meters. So for anyone who's never seen a beep test, and I will show you it on my screen. So when you do a beep test, the beep test might start here in between these cones, and it might go all the way up to here. So when you do a beep test, the distance is normally 20 meters, okay? And the player would start there, and the noise will make a beeping noise. So you need to have a recording on your device, your phone, your iPad. And when you hear the beep, you make a run all the way to the end. And then you stop there. We don't go again until you hear another beep. And then when you hear beep, you then go again. And then you make your way all the way down this end. Now, what happens if you don't get to the end and the beep's already gone off? Well, that's a warning. If it happens the second time, then that means you are completely out of the game. Now, what's likely happening for this particular player? You're aerobically fit. So what does aerobically fit mean? So when we talk about different types of fitness, if we talk about an aerobic fitness means that you can go over long distances and it gives you basically endurance over those long distances. So you can endure long distances, okay? What we're actually looking for and what you're lacking in is what we call repeat sprint ability. So that's the ability to sprint over short distances and lots of times. And that's why you feel like you're struggling to keep up. Now, would I stop your long distance running? No. Remember, what we've spoke about with long distance running, and I would utilise long distance running for one thing. If you're a player and you're running over long distances, I would be running in between heart rate zone 1 and 2. Why would I be running in between heart rate zone 1 and 2? Well, you're actually now doing your long distance running with a purpose. And I'm a big fan of long distance running for football players, but it should only be used for one area. And that one area is all about recovery. Now, when you do long distances, most players anyway are going slow, they're not going fast. So if you can work out how to keep yourself within heart rate zone 1 and 2, then that means you're going to be doing this as a recovery run. So if you're going to do a 5K 3 times a week, that means you're doing 3 times recovery runs a week. And that is phenomenal for your overall football. But if we're thinking back about repeat sprint ability, what you should be doing is, you should be doing 3 beep tests a week. Okay. Now the reason why it's important to record your beep test score, just because what you don't want to do is you don't want to do a beep test and not record your scores and just do it until you feel tired and then stop. Because you're not really going to know where you are, where you're at, what your limit is, what your best score is you've ever done. But what we've discovered as well is that with inside data, it actually reveals certain things to us. We can actually predict when you're on the verge of needing a day off to recover. We can actually predict when you might be about to break down, and we can actually predict when you might have an illness or a sickness about to hit your body, because your body is running low. And I'll give you an example on how we can do that. Let's say week 1, you get 11.1, then you get 11.3, and then you get 11.2, okay? And let's say it carries on in a similar fashion, but let's say week 5, we know you're getting better now, so you're up 12.2, then you got a 12.1, and then you manage to get a 12.3. Now let's say in week 6, for no reason whatsoever, but you get a 10.1, and then you get a 10.7. That will be a great indicator to your coach that something's not working right. You're physically tired. Now, when you look back at that week, what you might notice is that you've just played 2 games back to back in the space of 4 or 5 days. Well, that would make sense. and that would be why you're scoring low on your beep test. However, if your weeks are generally being the same, training's being the same, games are being the same, then it's indicating something else is going on. Now, normally what would happen here is, if you're at a pro club, you go in and get blood work and blood tests done, and you'd be given normally 48 hours off to just recover, and then you'd go again. Now, when we're talking back about being able to get yourself fit for football, we want to make sure that we're doing these 3 beep tests a week. And again, remember, beep tests are not designed to see how fit you are at the beginning of the season, to see where you are in the middle, and then once more at the end. The beep test is an amazing tool to get you football fit in general on a week-to-week basis. But within the data will be your best little supporting angel, if you like, and it's going to make you aware of when something's happening with your body and when you're progressing and when you're not progressing, okay? So my advice would be to make yourself football fit would be, okay, to go down the line of doing these 3 beep tests a week. And if you need to know how to do the beep test, well, as ever, you can go into our school platform, we can go into Classroom, then we can go into the Dugout, and I've actually built a session here for you. If you have a little look, you'll see there's one that's beep test, and it will teach you how to log one, so how we're going to record one, how to set up your beep test, okay, and then what it's like as a Premier League player, as an academy player, and then what to do next, okay? And we can teach you how to progress and how to build up your beep test on a slow, what we call a slow foundational base. So hopefully you enjoyed that one. It was a fantastic question, and apologies if it wasn't Matthew, but I thought it was Matthew Campbell who gave us that question. I will dig it out and see who it was who sent it to me, and we will post that one into the community as well with the information. Now we are going to go to another short ad break, and when we come back, we've got 2 more videos to go through.
Don't bunch up, you don't get sweaty. Simple as that.
One of the things I noticed about my Goats grip socks is the grip runs across the whole panel, so there's no bunching or sliding in your boots.
These grip pads will help you not slip when you're going in for a tackle.
My old socks will get sweaty halfway through the game. Not with Goat grips, they stay cool and dry from start to finish.
These guards are so lightweight, you forget they're even there, but they still give solid protection. It's like full freedom to play a game without that clunky feeling. I used to wear bulky guards that slip down every game. They stay in place the whole time.
These shin pads are stretchy, durable, definitely not be ripping anytime soon.
Switch the Goat sleeves now. They don't slip, they don't slide. Nice and snug, nice and tight.
It's crazy how light these things are. I've worn a lot of old school pads in my time. In these, are featherweight and super comfortable.
Why are you still wearing those old clunky shin pads when you could be wearing these?
I used to struggle with shin guards sliding all game. These are a game changer. Put them on, you don't even notice them. They're comfortable, keep you going until finish.
It shows how fast you move on the pitch because it's stuck to the shin bone and does not slip and slide all around your shin.
No distractions, no readjusting, just focus on the match. What I like about these is you can wear them all day. Training, recovery, travel, they never lose shape. The material is soft and supportive. It's the perfect mix of comfort and performance. These guards are so lightweight.
Hello everyone, welcome back. Now, I'm going to just drop us back into our screen on here, so hopefully everyone can see this. Now, what I've done is for everyone, I've actually put in the community, based off that last call out we've just done, one called Football Fit, and it actually covers the question that I got asked, and then I've actually put in some of the information on here, okay? I've even put in a picture for you to reference to, And on here, we cover things about 5 kilometre. Is it based for football? No, it's an endurance run. But if it's used for recovery, then it definitely is. We want to work in between 10 and 30 metres. That's where most football players or soccer players run. Remember, aerobic running is long distance. We want to do repeat sprint abilities. A beep test is 20 metres apart. We've got our long distances is for heart rate running 1 and 2. 3 recovery runs a week if we're doing the long distance as a recovery run. And then our 3 beep tests a week. And then we've got our different results at the bottom. So just a reminder, that post is in there and the post is called Football Fit. So you can just type Football Fit and that will come up here. So if we just type in Football Fit in here in the future, you should be able to just pull up that Football Fit post. And again, just to recap, guys, on that particular one, if you go to Classroom, if we go to the dugout, okay, and then if we go to beep test here, you'll see how to record a beep test, how to set up your beep test. These are the results from the Premier League and what Premier League players get, and then what to do next. So it's all in there for you, and I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go into our final video of the day, and we're going to do a little bit of a whiteboard session with this one. Now we are going to have a little look at communication drills, and this one goes for about just over 2 minutes. So I hope you enjoy this short video, and when we come back we'll finish off with just a little bit of an explainer. You probably noticed we've gone past warm-ups and cool-downs. We've done a lot of related drills lately where we've done recordings which can all be used for warm-ups and cool-downs. So I thought it'd be really important that when we talk about that 4-corner model, and we're talking about technical, tactical, physical and social, that social element, that's that communication side. I thought it'd be really useful just to cover off one area here.
Do you understand when Edu, myself and Matt speak about not only you being the pivot for the team, but you start to organise people around as well and start showing some leadership qualities, know where other people need to be. So can you get them into position by communicating with them? Yeah. You noticed when Barcelona was over here training, what did you notice with them?
Very loud, always moving, always talking.
So can you now add to your game some leadership and some strong communication? Add that to your game and you'll keep improving. Yeah. Watching the matches back through the analysis, but also even during the games, you just feel there's a lack of communication, a lack of leadership. They need to start demonstrating in the matches. Today was the ideal opportunity. Just get some common language and then making the players feel comfortable communicating. Let's hear you. Squeeze!
Yes, up, get up!
Better. Up!
Marvin!
Turn! Squeeze!
Get up!
Good! Turn! Up!
Cam's ball!
Relax. Cam, you lead it. Trey, you come in. So now you tell them what to do.
Right block. Turn. Up. Squeeze.
On the squeeze, Curtis, get us up. And Curtis, it's a body language. Squeeze!
Get up. Squeeze.
Better. Cam, line us up as a back four. I want to hear Cam leading the line. Just get used to communicating. If I play, Jose's man. Scary. Come with me.
Keep coming. Stop. Drop. Keep dropping. Hold. Yes, I'll go. Yes, go on then. Who's going?
Let's see you, Trey.
Hold. Go on then. Who's going?
Good. Louder, Jose.
Wait. Yes, Cam's going. Yes.
And relax. 3 against 2. Okay, you 3 attackers against 2 defenders. Score as quickly as you can. So listen to the instructions from Marvin. You've got to be talking the whole time.
Come outside.
Good.
Recover. Drake. Get tight. Hold the line. Jump outside.
What's the last thing you now need to shout? Block. And again, it's just to encourage him going that extra yard.
Drake, get tight.
Keep telling him. Keep talking to him.
Outside. Block.
Good. He done it for you, Marvin. Look. Have a rest. It feels quiet out there. Luke. Get the 2 centre-halves, get up the pitch. Trey, now squeeze the pitch when we clear. They've made a mistake. Hey, get back in, recover. I don't hear it. Smell the danger. Get more confident talking. Liam, I've got to hear more from you. And you. And Curtis.
Get tight, right shoulder. And again. Good boy, Wayland, love that, Wayland. Get back in. Good boy, Liam.
Tight, well done.
Yes. I'm feeling from Liam, stay.
Good talking, Kamal.
Stay.
Good information there. Aye, unlucky. Aye, well done.
all good teams have good leaders, good organisational skills, and we need our players to express that as well. So it's the same thing tomorrow, but we may be working on defending. But again, if the communication's not there, we just keep pushing them. It's something they have to add to their games.
So hopefully you enjoyed that one. I'm going to go straight into my whiteboard on here, and I'll just want to cover a couple of areas off with you. So one of the big areas that we did cover when I worked in the Premier League and I worked on the EPPP project was there was a whole weeks, if not months worth of communication and how we get better communication from players who are aged probably 7 and 8 all the way up to ages men and women. Okay, now what we discovered was no matter what age group you're working with, we need to agree as a squad common language. Now you can do this in a couple of ways. The way we done it, we actually took our group of players into a room and we ascertained what the 5 to 6 common actions we all need each other to do on the pitch. So what I've done is here, I've wrote down the words that we heard on that particular video. Okay. Now, squeeze, what does squeeze mean? Well, squeeze, and when we talk about common language, what we agreed was that we wanted one word triggers. And what a one word trigger is, okay, it basically means we're just going to use one word, and that one word will tell everyone on the pitch or that player you're speaking to the command is what we need them or us to do. And it's got to be simplistic. So common language has always got to be one word, and it's got to be a trigger for the team or players to perform an action. Now, I think we're all aware when we look at the little clock on the right, one of the things we don't have a lot of is time. So the reason why we ascertained these one word triggers is because we don't have a lot of time. So the words that we used were very, very similar, but I'll walk you through what these words mean. So if you're on the live chat and you're watching it, you can have a go and put in what you think squeeze means, but I'll tell you what squeeze means. So as a squeeze, let's imagine I'm a centre back and I'm a player here and I've got another centre back here. So there's a player there and this is me there, okay? I'm the X, okay? If we say squeeze, okay, that means we want to get a little bit more tighter and we're going to get a little bit more compact. So all of a sudden, we might now look a little bit like that. We're a little bit tighter together as we squeeze, okay? A block would mean that we're looking for the player to block the ball. So that would mean trying to win the ball or get a challenge in. Turn is pretty self-explanatory, okay? So we're looking for the player to turn with the ball. So I'll give you an example of where this one would be used a lot, okay? Let's say we're shooting in this direction. We've got our goalkeeper, we've got our central defenders, and we've got our holding midfielder here. Now our holding midfielder is facing our goal, okay? Looking at our goalkeeper here. I've got the ball, and I'm going to play it to this player here. And as I play it to this player, I can see that in this space here, there is no one. So the command that I'm going to give from here would be turn, okay? Because we're telling that player they can turn into space. They don't need to scan because we're giving the command. So as I send that ball, once that ball's about here, I am shouting turn. And that's telling that player that they can turn and they're not turning into trouble. Now, where we would use this slightly differently, we might play the ball into this player. Now, some people would say, why are you playing it into a player when he's got a player behind him? Well, I'm going to give you an example on this one. What we're trying to do is, we've got an opposing player here, and we're about to play this same ball in here. But we know we want to try and encourage this player to come in. And as this player comes in, the command that we now say to the player is no turn. But why have we done this? What we're trying to do is we're trying to force this player into this space here. So by moving this player into there, what we've now created is that space in there. Now it mightn't necessarily be for this player to get in, but we might have another teammate here who now can explode into that space there. Okay, but remember, this will be where we're saying no turn, because we don't want the player to turn. So they understand that they're going to just receive the ball, and they're probably likely going to bounce the ball back one touch back into this player. Or, as we say no turn, they know that this player is moving in on them. They might do a little cheeky spin ball there because they've scanned over the left shoulder and they know this player is making a movement in. So by saying no turn to the player, that particular player knows there's a player coming in fast on them, behind them, but they know they can, if they want to, they can quite easily from here just play that little ball with just a little roll of the left foot and allow the ball to come off the left side of the foot. And this would be perfect for our friends here to get on the end of the ball and get on the attack. So my advice with common language would be agree these words with your squad of players. Now, if we've got 7 and 8 year olds, are we going to teach them the words squeeze and block and turn and drop and no turn? I would probably, with younger age groups, I would start with a couple of basic words until you're comfortable they've got those words correct. Now, for me, the biggest ones you could do would be turn and no turn. If you can get 7 and 8 year olds to understand turn and no turn and communicate that to each other, then that means you're on a winning formula. Now, with older age groups, 14s, 15s upwards, men's and women's, can you introduce 6, 7 words? 100% you can. 100%. It should be more in their capability to take on them words and understand what they mean. Now, when you've got one common language, just to finish off, and when your team understands we've got 5 or 6 key words we use on the pitch, by using that one word, it means we're buying ourselves an element of time back, because by buying ourselves an element of time, by using one word triggers, it means everything's going to be faster on the pitch, and it means we're going to be able to warn our teammates a lot quicker when they're in dangerous situations. But also, we always speak about the picture is always changing on the football or soccer pitch, and this is a great way to communicate to our teammates the benefits or the lack of benefits of communication. So hopefully you enjoyed that one. We are very quickly going to go to our next short ad break, and when we come back we will finish off with some Q&A. So if you've not dropped a question in yet, please drop one in.
Don't bunch up, you don't get sweaty. Simple as that.
One of the things I noticed about my Goats grip socks is the grip runs across the whole panel, so there's no bunching or sliding in your boots.
These grip pads will help you not slip when you're going in for a tackle.
My old socks will get sweaty halfway through the game. Not with Goat strips, they stay cool and dry from start to finish.
Hi everyone, welcome back. So a big thank you for that. Hopefully you enjoyed those couple of little activities and videos that we walked you through. So just as a bit of a recap, we obviously answered the question from Matthew Campbell around football fitness versus endurance, why he's struggling a little bit in the game with some of the transitional work and the speed work. So hopefully that was useful for all of you on that one. Also, one of the big ones that we've had a little look at today as well was those couple of videos that we covered off. So we'll just have a little bit of a recap. So today, obviously, we've looked at the team bonding activities, and then we've had a little look at our communication drills as well. Remember, inside the community, if you type in the word Football Fit, it will bring up the post that we've just covered, and it gives you all of the information and the question that we originally got. And then we've also done the little whiteboard where I've given you some information which will relate when you watch this back. As ever, these videos will be edited up into short form and they'll be dropped in across the platform for you to watch back. I'm just going to have one little final look just to make sure no questions have dropped in, because I don't think we've got any questions. So what we will do is, guys, we will make that a wrap. As ever, a big thank you for joining us. Again, hopefully you learned something from that 1 hour live coaching call. Maybe you're watching it back on a recording. Again, you can drop us a question in the school community. You can drop us a question in the comments on YouTube and we'll be sure to get back to you. I hope you have an amazing weekend, whatever you're up to, and we look forward to catching up with you on our next live coaching call.
Don't bunch up, you don't get sweaty. Simple as that.
One of the things I noticed about my Goats grip socks is the grip runs across the whole panel, so there's no bunching or sliding in your boots.
These grip pads will help you not slip when you're going in for a tackle.
We all